of Magnus Carlsen. But yeah, Magnus looking to lock it all up here and now.
Wow, C4, C3. Wow.
I feel he had to go for that knight f5 jump. I felt like that should have been done.
That was necessary.
Sooner. But now he is in crisis mode as those bishops. I was talking about keeping them out. They're fully in the game. Well, they are the only things you can even think about.
Well, the real problem as I see it is that, okay, I take the pawn on C3, you take the pawn on A3, I move my rook, and now it's all about this A pawn. I don't like this for Fabi, but I don't see a choice. I hate the variation that we just looked at where Black ended up with this massive pawn on B2.
And there you have it. Under a minute now for Fabiano Caruana trying to find a resource here. Back against the wall against Magnus Carlsen, tournament leader.
This is his entire tournament, and look at Magnus just glanced over the clock there and said, yes, got him on the clock too.
I spent 5 minutes on one move and I'm ahead on the clock. Wow.
Incredible.
He spent 5 minutes on the right move.
And look at this. He took on B4, Fabi did. He said, I'm going to sacrifice an exchange. I'm not going to let that pawn go to B2. Good move by Fabi. C3. He's looking at knight takes C6, knight takes A5. He's also looking at, hey, that's a bishop.
Fabi holding on by his fingernails. Magnus needs to keep the pressure up, and it just seems like he has such a winning position here.
A winning position? Is it really? Why is it so winning?
Well, if you're knight...
Bishop C4, knight takes C6, queen takes E5.
That's a small mistake. You should play bishop B5.
Yeah, B5. Protect the pawn that you wanted to attack.
Not give you anything.
Why didn't he protect the pawn?
That's a good question. We'll have to ask him later.
Yeah, just play the move. And now knight...
Whoa, look at that.
The way I expected that
now
to
that's
happen.
cheeky. He's saying, I've got a fork on the C6 square. Don't think about playing rook takes A5 because of knight takes C6. But queen takes E4.
But the back rank, yes, there's a back rank issue. If rook takes A5, knight C6, queen D7, isn't that playing?
Queen takes E4.
Yep, there it is.
Queen takes E4.
No, I was talking about for white. White couldn't take on C6 if we took on A5.
All right, well, queens are off the board. One more pawn did fall and defended the A5 pawn in the process.
All right.
Magnus will bring over his rook
but
to
now,
the E8 square, now doubled on the E file.
Now that the bishop is patrolling A6, the pawn doesn't have that potency, and it's the back rank threats that are immediate. I mean, that's...
Sub 20 seconds now here for Fabiano.
I mean, if Fabi has to play F3 or F4, I don't like his chances of surviving this ending.
When you are down in exchange, like he is now, you want to keep rooks on the board.
Exactly.
White wants the rook to be on the board. To see this trade just take place.
Yeah, that's not nice.
This is a disastrous thing to happen, and now you have to start defending your position. There goes the C pawn.
And with 1/5 the amount of time that your opponent has.
And he better coordinate right here, right now, real quick, before some tactic occurs. But we can say there are some technical difficulties ahead for Black. Again, the wrong player you're playing against to talk about technical difficulties. But at least you could put a bishop on B6 and and this pawn on G4, really important. Put the bishop on B6 and hope that he's not able to break your position down, because after all, as F6 gets played, after all, a bishop on B6, a knight on D4, it's a stable situation. And this is not totally easy to win. He's definitely better, but it's not, you can't take the A pawn. You have trouble chasing the knight off of D4.
Well, in a sense, you've maximized your position as white. I mean, it's a two-result game. The question is, can Black put you in a zugzwang? Like, imagine this position, and I don't think it's actually that easy for Black to do, but you've played the move G6. And the king has gone to D5. Now, that move was unexpected. I thought he was trying to hold...
off.
Well, yes, and I thought he was trying to create a fortress with the pawn protected. But Fabi is, I'm not sure what Fabi is trying to create here, where he feels that this pawn is best placed. On F5, G5?
I felt so weakening.
Wow.
I mean, he's just pushing his pawns. If he could liquidate those pawns, but he can't.
One of the hardest things in chess is just to keep the position. Sometimes players just have this desire to
Progress.
to be active. If people and he's dropped the pawn.
There it is.
now
Pawn
it's
comes
not
off the board.
should
He
be
is going to
winning.
go ahead and launch his A pawn down.
And the rook will come back. Rooks belong behind passed pawns. His bishop is also patrolling the diagonal. Now
This
something
must be
like
lost.
king out of the way so you can play G5.
I mean, you can't push your pawn. The bishop and rook stop the A
maxed.
pawn from going anywhere.
You maxed.
And so all you can do is just sort of stay as stable as you can over there. And then Magnus just needs to get the G pawn rolling. And you are not stopping that pawn.
Yeah.
I mean, your whole bishop and knight combo is meant to keep the pawn on A7 alive. But they're not meant to defend against this attack that's coming at you. G pawn's rolling home. Magnus is going to seal this tournament with 2 rounds to spare
Yes, he
with
is.
this victory.
Yes, he is. Today, it's definitely all Magnus.
Putting on a masterclass right
He
now.
truly is.
He's already got 9 points out of 9 points to his name on the day, looking to make it 12 of 12. And as Maurice said, that would lock it up. Top prize for Magnus Carlsen. Hikaru as well on the other board, about to take a victory over Gukesh, so at least 3 points added to his name. That might make the race for second place.
No, a
Very
little interesting.
between him and Fabiano Caruana. Again, assuming the result here that it very much looks like we are destined to find.
King H4, King H3, that looks really strong. King G4, same idea. Bring the king to H3 so that the pawn can be pushed, supported by the king, supported by the rook. And there's just, frankly, there's just no really good moves anymore for Fabi.
The way Magnus is gaining a tempo each time
with
rook attacks the
rook
bishop.
A6,
And
rook
then-
F3,
yes.
yeah, and he's got the same position, only it's his move once more. And by the way, Hikaru won.
Did get that victory. 3 more points go to him. That'll move him up to about 12 points, though. So again, just barely behind Fabiano Caruana and not picking up any points in this matchup here against Magnus.
Magnus has done beautiful work. He's brought his king to H3 so that he can just simply push the pawn, G4, G3, and Fabi is going to try his best. Put his knight on E2 and his knight on G1. I don't think he can hold.
That knight will be taken eventually by a rook on that square. And Magnus just put his bishop on A8 and said, "You will
shall not
never."
pass.
Well, it's one of those, high class moves that blitz players know. They know that those knights can fork. Knight can go to C3 and hit the bishop. Magnus says, if I put my bishop as far out of danger as possible, you can never touch me.
Yep.
And that's very Karpovian, we would call those types of moves.
All right, the king is trying to go to B8 at least.
At least, yeah, well, I mean, for sure, dealing with the pawn on G1 and at least put the king on B8, that would be nice.
No, the knight
What?
has just gone up
What?
the board.
Ooh.
What?
It's headed for the bishop.
It's going for C7, yeah.
No,
Hitting the bishop.
no.
But now at best you're trading the bishop off and we still queen on the other side.
Well, no, we're going to go king G3, rook F2. We're not going to let you sacrifice.
But
Sorry.
What I'm saying is you can't even push your pawn to A8 anyway. The bishop was there and now it's left. And
Right.
So you're still in the same boat. Here comes the knight. Back
Knight
again.
should be on G1. The king should be on B8 for Fabi. Rook attacks bishop.
Ready to take that bishop. And where do you hide it?
By the way,
Oh, no, you have no place. There's no place to put it. It's dominated on the square.
If you put it on B6, we've
Yeah,
got
it goes to G1, but
And
now
now
it's
rook
dead in
attacks,
the water.
and that's it. That's the end of the game. He's about to win that bishop straight. He could just promote.
Now we queen.
There's a queen. It must be taken, and there's some kind of dream of maybe getting at least the bishop for the
Nope.
pawn, but it's not going to work.
Nope.
Rook slides over.
You can't
Check
even
on the
play king c7 because of rook b7. Now we can drive the
defended by
king.
the bishop.
We can drive the king away with the move bishop b7 check, or force it, pardon me, to drop back. Rook up. This is easy technical win for Magnus. Magnus again. You know, I'm not going to get forked by the knight. He's just ready to move his king, glide his king over to the queen side.
At best, you can play into what? King and rook against king.
I don't know what
Which
you
is
can
still-
do.
Yeah.
Which is still lost.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Queen? What? No, queen, rook check. Rook check on a1. If we make a queen,
4
I
seconds.
don't take it.
Knight
Okay.
b5. He's
King
still not
E5.
threatening to promote anything. Knight c3.
Rook check.
Fabi showing some fight, but it's not going to be enough here.
Well, it's a rook. What can I say? It's a rook.
He knows he's moments away from resigning. He'd love to put his knight on b6 maybe and do something, but even that doesn't help because of a check. Here we go. Magnus just needs to bring his king closer because knight b6 doesn't do anything because of this rook move. And now king moves, and here comes the king one step closer.
To the a pawn.
And knight b6 will be met by king to c7, and you have no chance. And Magnus has just won the tournament.
Fabiano
Wow.
admits defeat, and an undefeated Magnus on day 3 of the tournament. He gets it done across 4 games. Doesn't even need the final 2 to take the top spot here at Clutch Chess Champion Showdown.